Hello, Renovo users. Uh, this lesson is going to be about how to set up an ad hoc conference in the Renovo Web Manager interface. You start out by clicking on the ad hoc conference link, and this is the interface. I want to tell you up front, there are some limitations on this, and I will point them out as we go along. The duration, the drop-down box, you can either type in or pick your minutes, or you can actually set it to open-ended so that it does not end until you actually manually stop the conference. You can change the title if you like, and you need to pick the MC you want to use, one or two. I'm going to pick one, and you must pick a template that you want to use. We only have one template, the 384K connection standard template, so it's going to attempt to connect all the endpoints at 384 kilobytes or less. And that's one of the drawbacks to using the ad hoc system. You cannot change the speed your endpoints are connecting without using a template. And so it's going to try to apply that speed to all the endpoints. So if I wanted to connect everybody at 1 gigabit or 100 megabits, whatever speed they are capable of receiving at, I would not be able to change that speed using the ad hoc conference unless I had a template already pre-built. And go in here, this is the same search engine for your rooms, just like a regular conference search. So I'm going to look for my personal desktop video unit, and there it is. I'm going to add that one. I'm going to add an IPVCR to record the event, and in order to see the entire list of VCRs, I have to uncheck favorites because some of my VCRs were made on the off-network rooms tool. And I sort them by names, and you'll see these ones I labeled them off-network so that I could specifically pick them out from the rest of the list. And I'm just going to pick IPVR 1-5 because I'm using MCU1, and just to stay within my normal way of doing things, I put IPVCR1 always on MCU1, and I put IPVCR2 always on MCU2. It doesn't really matter. They will connect and record if you mix and match them. It's just my standard way of doing things. And I'm going to add one more room to this, the 5th floor boardroom. And I'm going to scroll down here, and you have one more section you can look at, conference network parameters. If you like, you can set the origination point to a different endpoint. I prefer to pick rooms as the origination. I pick the room that it is being broadcast from. In this case, there's no real broadcast from room, so it doesn't matter. But in the case of things like workshops and the TE10s that come out of the state of Texas, I will choose the room that's broadcasting the event as my origination point, because once you pick the origination point, you can't drop that room from the conference. I learned that the hard way. So if I were to pick the 5th floor boardroom and they called me up and said, hey, we need to drop the 5th floor boardroom, there's something else going on there, I wouldn't be able to do that. I would have to stop the entire conference and rebuild it and leave the boardroom out. So just remember, whenever you're building a conference, set your origination point as the room that's actually the room that's doing the teaching. So let's move out of that. Video layout, this is another limitation. The default setting is 2x2 for our Renovo settings. If I wanted to change this to a 1x1 or a 4x4, I don't have those options available. I will have to go back into our MCU Codian once the conference is actually running to be able to switch the video layout for each of the endpoints. And I like to have automatic retries, and I usually set my retries to 10. So if an endpoint drops from the conference because they have a spotty network connection or they push the wrong button and get disconnected, Renovo will automatically try to reconnect them up to 10 times, about once every minute. So it comes in handy for the number of retries, or having someone who has a bad connection that drops and it'll automatically reconnect them. It's bad in that if I get a message from from anyone saying, hey, please drop the boardroom from this conference, because if I drop it on the Codian, then Renovo will think that the room needs to be reconnected and will try up to 10 times during the conference to reconnect that room. So it becomes kind of a hassle. You have to go into the maintenance tab of the conference and actually move the room out of the conference under the maintenance window to get Renovo to stop calling a room if you dropped it, or if you want to drop it. So these are all my settings for the moment, and click on Start. And I'm going to switch over to my Codian web interface to show you that the conference has started once it's kicked off, once this page changes back to my calendar. Let's see here. Here's my little test ad hoc conference going on. You'll see it's blue right now, but it will change to green in just a few seconds. And I had my MCU1 in its own separate window. I tend to arrange things in different types of browsers so that I can easily switch between the two and know what's going on, know where things are to organize them. Like I use Internet Explorer for monitoring my MCUs and the IPVCRs. And I keep the Renovo Video Manager in Firefox. It just helps me keep things sorted out. And if Firefox crashes, I don't have to log back into everything. I can just pop over to my MCU and it's fine. And I can just let Firefox reload itself and pick back up where I left off. So let me refresh this. See my ad hoc conference going on. And I wanted to show you that how the 2x2 layout can be a pain. And as you can see, there's only one other endpoint connected, and you won't see the IPVCR in this pane, but it is set up for a 2x2 window. So if you wanted the endpoint to show this full screen, you'd have to manually go in here and switch over to the family layout of one big pane. So that's one of the drawbacks to using the ad hoc conference, is controlling the layout of the screen for each of the endpoints. Since I didn't have but one choice, I had to start out using the 2x2, and then I had to manually come in here and switch it over to the full screen. And let's check out the boardroom and see how it's doing. See, it's got the same thing. It's also 2x2. If we had one more video camera attached to it, you'd see them in here, and I have to switch it over, and now it's full screen. And that is pretty much all there is to doing an ad hoc conference.